Lave Radio, transmitting to every corner of the galaxy.
Hello and welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings and welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders.
Greetings, Commanders.
The show that talks about the universe of Elite
and the development of the computer game Elite 4, known as Elite Dangerous,
and the fantastic
community that surrounds it.
Broadcast from the Orange Sidewinder and hosted by a vending machine technician.
A place of nonsense and innuendo for forum dads.
A self-contained podcast 2 hours long.
Transmitting to every corner of the galaxy.
It's even louder than me.
The hottest show this side of Dizzo.
The name of the place.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders, and welcome to episode 457 of Lave Radio, the show that likes to talk about the universe of Elite and the vast, fantastic community that surrounds it. Now, I'm your host, Commander Phoenix Sapphire, and joining me in the Orange Sidewinder bar for this episode, we have our Head of Health and Safety, Commander Adler Weiss. That's Ben Mouse Woodward.
You know, some of us are pay an arm and a leg to look at other games as well.
We have our Staff Liaison Officer, Commander Psychit.
Gather your party and venture forth.
Also joining us for today, we have reached across the ocean, and there's Commander Indigo.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.
Somebody's still playing Elite Dangerous. Yay!
And we also have the wonderful Chris Mark IV doing stuff in the background.
In space, no one can hear you roll a d20.
I mean, I could give it a bloody good go, mate.
So, yes.
I don't know, you can get 50 of them on your ship in Starfield, can't you? And it's all fun because, like, that works.
What, you get 50 d20s on your ship?
I don't know, like potatoes or something like that. I don't know, something to do with...
Anyway,
sorry.
If you wish, you can join us live. We're hanging out in-game in open somewhere with Ben and Chris, probably.
We are. My cutter is currently booping a Lave station at the moment.
Right. Fair enough. If you can't get to us in game, you can join the Twitch chat channel, which you can access through laveradio.com/live. Click on the live chat and go to twitch.tv/laveradio or X, Twitter, or Facebook, or I think that's it, isn't it? Oh yeah, YouTube.
You know where to find us.
Yeah, they'll find us. So, it's been an interesting couple of weeks. I think we will start with, I'm going to regret this. Commander Psychit.
Hey.
How have you been?
I've been all right, thank you. I've been all right. It's been sort of like a busy and like a quiet couple of weeks in equal measure. I've been mostly focused around Fey Runic type activities in either Waterdeep, Candlekeep, or Baldur's Gate in many different guises as both a pen and paper gamer or a tabletop gamer and a video gamer. I've played a bit of Elite here and there. I dipped into the what's it called? The CG. I did a little bit of a dip into that. I did a little bit more time on my new commander, who is trying to go from 0 to Titan, and that's quite fun. Still been quite fun to do. Played a bit of the Expanse video game, which is horrifying and wonderful, and another incredible example of how amazing storytelling is in gaming at the moment, and how fortunate we are to have such beautiful performance capture in gaming. What have I done that hasn't been to do with a video game or a tabletop game? Not an awful lot. I am hyperfixated and blinkered on doing the things that I love at the moment. I've been scared of an awful lot of fucking spiders that keep coming into my house. The size of plates, man. I don't like it. I don't like having to keep waking up my husband at silly hours of the day to go, there's a spider here, I need you to get rid of it for me, because it is like one of my biggest fears is spiders. So I'm in a full, like, constant state of fear that any minute there's going to be a spider appear behind me, as has happened. Video game spiders I'm mostly all right with, but spiders in real life scare the utter bejesus out of me, and I'm not happy with them being in my house. But that's pretty much it for this week, really.
Oh, fine. We will move on to Ben.
I can emphasize with Psychic about spiders. I was having a shower this morning, and I saw something. What do you mean?
About the idea of of a spider in the shower. I've been there.
Yeah, I turned around and I was like, "What the?" And usually the spiders in my house, they usually, if they're a big-sized one, they're usually teeny tiny body and great big legs. And it's like, okay, I can live with that. This was a great big, I could have carved this spider up and had him for dinner. It was chuffing massive, and it was a segmented one.
I don't like it. I keep seeing people post it on their Instagram stories as well and stuff like that. Pictures of spiders that are in their house and they're like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? I'm like, don't post it online.
I was going to say, that's some fun unprompted content. Thank you.
Thank you for your content.
I was in a shower and I'm not taking photographs of anything in the shower.
Well, fair.
So I'm certainly not putting them up on Instagram either.
Fair.
At least not intentionally.
At least not intentionally, yeah. So yeah, I've been like Sai again. I've been kind of stuck in the past a wee bitty. Again, I think I played the other space game long enough to go and say, okay, that other space game's equivalent of CQC has a lot of potential. And we'll see what comes of it.
Which other space game?
Star Citizen.
Star Citizen. I was wondering which one had a CQC variant.
Star Citizen have gone off, and this patch is basically a lot of it is their equivalent of CQC, and they're using it for lots of different game modes and testing of the different game modes, and they're using it internally to improve their testing facilities. So they can say, hey, what happens if we jiggle these guns and do this with them? And then you can just go and say, okay, guys, could you please do this? We'll give you some in-game money. And you can play that game mode and you get more money for it. And that's testing the balance of these weapons out, which is a good idea, I think. And it just, it gives them things, but it's also got lots of fun things as well. Like they've got a game mode called Gun Rush where you start out with, say, an SMG, you kill somebody, then you get an LMG, you kill someone else, you get a pistol, and it goes all the way down to, the final one, you wind up wearing a bear hat and kill somebody with a knife. It's got I think it's 8v8 tank battle game mode. It's got various races that you can just dive into. There's a lot of potential there if it doesn't suck. So that's all, and that's all obviously it's in alpha. It's in alpha of an alpha at the moment.
Wow.
So, you take it with pinches of salt, don't you?
You love it. You love it.
And so what it might look like if they ever make a game out of it.
Exactly.
Who knows? I bet you it'd be amazing.
Well, I mean, I have had fun in it.
Well, that's good.
It's fun just dumping in and basically playing. Oh, what the hell? I'm trying to think of like asteroids when you're shooting aliens. Arcade games
like
shooting lots of
Space Invaders. Then.
Yeah, and playing Space Invaders in Elite.
Right.
That kind of idea. And it's just like, okay, I'm in, and there's an easy guy to shoot, and there's another easy guy, and then there's 100 easy guys to shoot.
Oh, that's Wing Commander Gauntlet mode.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, it's the never-ending Gauntlet mode where it just starts with one easy guy, and then it gets progressively harder until you die, and that's it.
Yeah. So that's.
Yeah, just think the end of Reach, but in space.
That's in it, and that was fun. Yeah, and I've tried that for about half an hour, and then I went back to the past again, basically.
Fair enough.
Because I'm wanting to basically try and push through and finish that game. But I keep getting distracted by killing other people.
Fair
Get it.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Right, moving on. Commander Indigo, nice to see you again.
Thank
or
you.
hear
I'm
from
happy
you
to
again,
be
rather.
here. Happy to be here. I'm more of a slow adopter than an early adopter when it comes to video games, so I suspect it'll be more Game of the Year edition territory for me, where either Baldur's Gate or Starfield are concerned. But that's left me. I still have a long list of things I mean to do in Elite Dangerous, so it keeps pulling me back when I have when I have gaming time. Most recently, I've been working on some brain tree surveys out near the new Rigo Guardian Thargoid site. It's kind of creepy territory out there, and I keep finding new systems with new footfalls and brain trees. And then
nice.
my alt is 3/4 of the way through a circumnavigation drive around a little meatball planet in the Iguandri, the first little planet. I made it from the North Pole to the South Pole, and I'm halfway back up to the equator on my way north. So I've been spending a lot of time fliving. When not in game, right now our house is kind of a site of carnage because my wife and I are working on a batch of pickled beetroot. So there's vegetable blood all over the kitchen. And speaking of blood, over the weekend was our anniversary, and discovered that we are both, her very much included, rugby fans. We've got a Scottish dear friend who was lamenting the fact that they have the best team in maybe his lifetime and have ended up in the World Cup against Ireland and South Africa and the best team
Not
in
New
the
Zealand
world.
as well.
No, they're with France at the moment. But yeah, we are in the group of death.
Yeah, so we got up early to watch the Scotland match on Sunday, I guess it was, and then
So you're
ended up
enjoying
watching.
Papa Hand Egg.
Yeah, it was exciting. It's so captivating. She has no patience at all for American football, and rugby shares so many game mechanics with it that it's unnerving the ways in which they are the same game and very different games. But anyway, we ended up watching Wales and Fiji on replay later in the day, and it was one of the best sports ball matches I've seen in a long time. And at the end of it, she commented that she might, in fact, be a rugby fan. So that was a lot of fun. Go Wales. It was a heck of a game.
Woo, go Wales! Woo!
Yeah. There's not much that you can follow on with that because, less ad breaks. That's the key. Right.
Less timeouts.
Yes. Let's see. What have I been up to for the last couple of weeks?
What have you been up to, Colin? How are you doing, mate?
Yes. Well, up is the appropriate word because for about 2-3 seconds on last Monday, I was up in the air doing a Superman impression as I had a bike accident and landed badly on my arms. I have broken both arms.
Oh.
You actually broke them, not just a fracture.
Oh yeah, they're broken.
Can I ask? I know this might be difficult, and for you to sort of like live through this again or anything along those lines. But what the fuck were you playing at to get that sort of shit happen to you? What was going on?
It was an illegally parked car, and there was a normal car stuck in a traffic queue, and there's normally a space between the two of them. I thought there was more of a space than there was, and I clipped one person's wing mirror. That meant the front wheel went straight 90 degrees, and I went over the top.
Jesus.
Yeah. So, and I landed on my elbows. So.
Oh.
I thought you'd only fractured yourself. I didn't realise you'd broken.
Yeah, both the radius. This is quite funny because the doctor just looked. I walked into the fracture clinic yesterday, and the nurse just looked at me and went, "Oh God, what happened to you?" Because obviously I'm slinged up in both arms, and they went. I explained the whole situation, and they went, "I don't know how you're going to manage." And I went, yeah, but I have broken both radiuses in the forearm, so. So you can imagine I haven't been playing much in the way of Elite because my HOTAS is just completely unusable. On Sunday, I was able to get enough mobility to actually use a mouse, so I played a bit of Baldur's Gate 3. And then
What's that game? I've never heard of it.
Yeah, and then I found out this morning that I can actually hold an Xbox controller without any pain.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, because it's in exactly the right position. I don't need to rotate my arms at all. So the plan is to get my Xbox controller back from work, plug it in here and redo my save my settings, and then hey presto, I'll be back in the universe of Elite at some point this week. Yes. But it's really weird because in one ways my arms work absolutely fine. I can still type. However, in other ways, I just need to turn my hands the wrong way, or have a bit of pressure pushed the wrong way, and I'm in absolute agony. And I've got this to wear these slings for another 3 weeks. So yay!
Holy shit, Colin. I don't envy you at all in the slightest. Nobody would, but that's so bad, mate. I hope, wishing you a speedy recovery, bud.
Yeah, I have never. I've gone a bit mental on the calcium tablets in the hope.
Or anything, really. Are you I bet you're painkillered right up, aren't you? You're off your fucking tits right now.
Actually, I'm not. I'm just on paracetamol. I'm on paracetamol because apparently if I take anything stronger, I won't be able to do a thing, and I need to keep on working. Because I mean, if I don't, I end up going crazy. I was talking to the fruit bowl the other day. Oh,
that's no way to talk about Ben.
What's the fruit bowl talking back? Oi!
I mean, it wasn't just my arms. I bashed up my knee as well, the same knee that I'd bashed up before. I mean, and at one point it looked as if all I had for a knee was a black pudding. It was not nice.
Jesus.
Oh.
But that all fell off this morning, so that's great. I've got a nice knee.
Oh.
Amazing breakfast for everyone.
That remind me to fry it up and send it to the rest of the crew.
Oh my god!
Is the fruit bowl there? We could talk to.
yeah. Could we speak to the responsible fruit bowl right now, please, Colin?
Technically, is that cannibalism? I don't know.
Yeah, kind of. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm back and you missed it. If only I'd missed the ground, I'd probably be flying. Anyway, right. I think that's everybody, isn't it? Unless Chris would like to join in.
I'm here. I mean, I can't really.
Chris, can I just ask a question? How's your arm, mate?
Yeah. Do you know, I wasn't going to mention this, Colin, because I don't want to upstage you. Because I know you've been going through the ringer the last couple of weeks. But I had my flu jab today, and my arm is aching a lot. So,
oh my god, Chris, are you okay?
I will struggle through psychic. I think I will struggle through.
Mate.
I will
That's
see.
What real suffering sounds.
That
like.
sounds so bad. That sounds really bad. I really, really wish you a speedy recovery.
Yeah. He's got one arm like Popeye, and not for the reason you think.
Yeah, not the usual arm. Yeah, yeah. No, that's last week was kind of our family birthday anniversary week, where everything is just crammed into 1 week. So most of my time was spent going around to various people's houses and celebrating. So not done a ton of gaming last week. I finally got into Starfield because that came out on Wednesday, and I've done like very, very little in it. I think by the time I did the character creator, I'd run out of time to play. And then Baldur's Gate, I am 37 hours in. Which is rookie numbers. Rookie numbers.
Nearly finished, right?
Yeah, totally. Like almost finished Act 1. So I am in there in the game. But yeah, that has been me. I have not taken part in the CG yet this week. I sort of spotted that when I started adding stuff into the show notes, and I was like, I really need to go and try out a CG. So might do a bit of that later.
Yeah. Well, what we'll do?
Has anyone else?
What we'll do is we will table our any Baldur's Gate 3 anecdotes to the any other business at the end of the show.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Because I'm quite sure that everybody wants to talk about something that's happened there. Barn doors.
No,
anyway.
We're good. God, that's so old news, Colin. You need to really catch up.
Yeah, well, I have been trying my best not to get spoilt, so I didn't get spoilt on that until I found out about that.
Perfect. So, good to know. Some virulent nutting.
Squidgy is the best one. Oh, right. Community news. Now, what has the community been up to? Well, obviously, there's no development news. I mean, I take it there was. You'll have to catch me up on this because I know that the last Frame Shift Live was cancelled due to sickness or
Yeah.
whatever. I take it they haven't rescheduled it yet.
Well, it's Friendship Live. I believe that this one's due either this Thursday or next Thursday. So,
So we're going to miss one out then.
yeah, effectively so. That's about it.
That's what they're probably doing then. Yes. So, what's the community been up to apart from that? Well, there's the Elite Dangerous community goals, which is more glory from the High Wake. So this is the High Wake's new animation, I take it.
Yeah, they did a new animation about community goals. It's very funny. It's talking about you wanting to like the TLDR of it without like spoiling it super hard is if you've you might want to play a different game, but then the community goals pull you back effectively. But it's a very beautiful beautiful video. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's come quite true in its prediction of community goals bringing people back. But either way, it's still very good.
Well, it's funny if you mention that because what with the other space game that's been released over the last over the last week or so, I was watching the Steam charts and they haven't changed that much at all.
What, for Elite?
For Elite.
Well, maybe just nobody's doing the community goal then, I guess.
That could well be. I think there's some community goal fatigue on the heels of an epic money printer that.
Oh yeah, because this one.
The prize for this one, I think people have a sense that they know what the resulting gameplay is going to be.
Yeah.
And maybe aren't super excited about it.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment.
But also don't have the usual "I'm going to be a billionaire in 2.5 hours."
Yeah.
That kind of spoils the incentive for an ordinary community goal.
Yeah, I mean that's quite interesting about do you think these sort of big money buster community goals do they ruin the game?
Nah,
I don't think so at all. I think they if you're in a position to really take advantage of them, then you're either in a position where you don't need money anymore, or in a position where making a fat stack of cash in a relatively short time will push you to get the next set of ships that you need, or get a fleet carrier, or make sure you don't have to worry about maintaining your fleet carrier. Or
yeah, I know that's two of those big moneymakers CGs which I missed due to being either ill or away on holiday, and yeah, so still
you and
no
me
fleet
both,
carrier
Colin.
for me.
You and me both.
No fleet carrier for me. The whale oil beef hooked will have to wait. Right. Now, this was actually interesting. There was a video released by IGN, of all people, who explained how Elite influenced Starfield and 40 years of space games. Now, I've seen this. I quite enjoyed the video. It's the first content that IGN have done anything Elite rated in years. What did you guys think of it?
I really liked it. I really liked it. I thought I think I thought it was really nice to see that. I think there was I'm pretty sure I saw an article that accompanied it as well. I believe I read the article as opposed to do the whole video thing. The on IGN. I just think it's really nice to sort of reflect over a very long period of growth through space games, and at the moment we're being inundated with some amazing space games. And I've said this before and I'll say it again, this year's been absolutely incredible for games just in general, but space games in particular are shining, and it's lovely. It's really lovely to see.
Yes, definitely. I mean, the one thing that I did notice in some of the comments is sort of it took Starfield for Elite to get noticed again, which, yeah, because IGN has effectively, I think, it ignored Elite, and they put a rather snotty comment in saying that we covered Elite when it was fresh and interesting. Well, it's still interesting. You know, it's not. I know it's not the latest thing with shinies at the moment, but it's still going for almost 10 years now. But yeah, well. And of course, then there's the usual other detractors. So there you go.
I think I've been like, I'm on TikTok a lot because I have a social media addiction that is something that I'm completely comfortable with, and it's fine. No one needs to intervene or anything along those lines. But I'm on TikTok an awful lot, and amongst all of the Baldur's Gate 3 thirst traps that I'm scrolling through, there were advertisements for Starfield and other video games. But I get a lot of Starfield stuff as well because it fits into something that I'm interested in. But I see a lot of comments going, oh, great, saying like it's a mid game and all of that bullshit. And like, I mean, people like what they like. It's fine. I'm not the hugest fan of Starfield, but I know other people are taking Starfield a little less seriously. I've enjoyed it more. I've seen like responses to it going, maybe if you're looking for a space game with unlimited possibility, maybe have a look at Elite Dangerous and things along those lines, like through different comments. And that's from names I obviously don't recognize, but I think it's really cool that if people are taking that interest in Starfield, they might also be taking interest in other games. And articles like this from IGN really help to make people aware of the other games that exist.
Yeah.
Yes.
Starfield, like No Man's Sky, is a great, it's a great gateway drug essentially.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Like, you got No Man's Sky, and it's like baby's first flying around thing.
But it's really cool though, isn't it? Like,
yeah, it's really cool. And it's got lovely procedural content.
Nothing is the same.
Yeah, and that's great.
There's nothing the same. You're not picking up Starfield and getting the experience of Elite Dangerous or No Man's Sky or Star Citizen or
they're all their own game.
Delivers Mars or all of those kind of things. So yeah, it's really cool, and I'm really chuffed for space games at the moment. Just because one of them isn't my hugest cup of tea doesn't mean that it shouldn't be. That I don't want I want it to fail or anything. I just don't want it to win Game of the Year. That's my you know what I mean.
That title already spoken for.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
But you know what I mean. I want recognition for outstanding in video games, and we're getting outstanding in video games at the moment. And Space Fallout maybe has not met that bar for me, but I get that other people are really enjoying it, and that's great.
Starfield is Fallout in space, and it's great for what it is. And from what I've heard from people who are enjoying it, they're enjoying the story, but don't expect to be flying spaceships like you can in Elite, like you can in Star Citizen. It's not trying to do that.
No, exactly.
That's fine.
I think I went in with a really with an expectation, and that was what marred my experience when we were on last week and I was talking about it. That's what marred my experience. I went in with an expectation of being blown away, like I've been blown away by multiple games this year. Absolutely with like a full narrative experience, but also with a space Elite Dangerous-y kind of vibe on the side, and I was missing that. But taking the time over this week to reflect and watch other people play and talk to other people about their experiences, it was half of it was my expectations weren't in the right place.
Yeah. You see, I think the main problem I have is not with the actual game itself. It's normally with the detractors of Elite who will come along and say, "Oh no, they did this with No Man's Sky."
Yeah.
So, oh no, No Man's Sky means the end of Elite. The usual doom mongers you see on the forums. Oh no,
ones replying to our questions of the week on Twitter and those kind of things.
Really? Did we have any of those? Oh.
We not this time, but sort of on previous ones we've had a few, but they work hard, but my block button works harder.
There are definitely some people in the Twitter ecosystem that are having their I think what they think is Schadenfreude at the feebleness of Elite Dangerous in the face of the glory that is Starfield. And they are of course entitled to their opinions, however childish the way they express them might sometimes be. But I'm certainly relieved that Bethesda didn't spend $400 million maybe making a game that would replace the game that we know and love. The fact that it is space Fallout with spaceships and a lot of people are having a grand time playing a space game, I think is like Psychic said, just fantastic. It's fine with me.
Sure.
There's plenty of room. It's like we're in kind of a golden age of television right now.
There's plenty of space fruit in the space fruit bowl that talks back to Colin all the time.
Yeah, there's room for plenty.
I've got
where the space games are concerned.
A pomegranate that I've got them having a rather philosophical. Oh, I can't even pronounce the word. I'm having a discussion with. So yes. Shall we move on before I lose it?
It's probably for the best.
PitCon. Oh God, PitCon. That will be happening at the Belfry Hotel this weekend. I was due to go. Alec was due to go, but Alec's busy playing with wood. No comeback there? Okay, fair enough.
Push the cricket button.
I mean, I'm so tired.
Yes, he's building chairs, and we've already had his puzzle of the day, which was so nerdy. Even
go check out his Twitter.
It's pretty remarkably nerdy.
He's put it on Twitter as well. It's very nerdy.
Yeah. And yes, but we have the PitCon have got special guests, including Frontier Development, which is going to be Sally, Arthur, Roger Bennett, Robin McGovern, Darren Halali, and Dav Slot. I'm not going to be able to make it for obvious reasons, so I'm afraid there'll be no Elite Miniatures there this year. Which is a bit of a shame. There will be a live broadcast of Witch Space News with Commander Burr and Commander Reedy, and a live edition of Galnet News Digest featuring Commanders Witherspoon and Bootlejude. So, yes, it's just I am really knowing my life. If I kick myself, I'd probably break something else. So I'm not going to.
Yeah, don't do that, Colin. Don't do that. You're fragile. You're a fragile little soldier at the moment. Don't do it, mate.
So yeah, I was really looking forward to this one. This is the one that I booked for before ECM, but it's I guess it's not to be. Anybody else going?
I'm not. No.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I haven't been able to book this one. I did Elite Meet. And then because this one was coming up so close, I was like, and it was announced after. I was like, okay, I've already sort of signed up for one. I would get told off if I did two at once.
I got the what's this thing on the calendar? I put that on there months ago, but I can't go to it now anyway. So it's fine.
Out of interest, Colin. It wasn't your wife's car that you accidentally rode into.
No.
And she sort of like accidentally moved it over a little bit.
Let's not pretend. Let's not do this. Let's not make any suggestions that that's the case. You absolute cretin.
No. My wife was nowhere near the scene. Thank you very much. I don't know what you're implying, Ben.
I think, Colin, what he's implying is casual domestic violence, which we don't joke about. Fucking hell!
It was an illegally parked car on the only part of my cycle route to work that doesn't have a cycle lane. And I'm going to be taking a different route to work that has cycle lanes, even though it's going to be about a mile, 2 miles longer than before.
Bloody hell.
Yes.
Great way to stay in shape and break your arms.
Another way of doing this possibly might be, hey, you know what? I don't think there's enough room there.
And not try and that
remember
could have been
you're riding a bicycle, not a trike, no, not a scooter or something. I don't know.
Maybe some tassels on the ends of your handlebars so you have a better sense of where the wing mirrors are.
You
Colin,
want
you
the
know,
equivalent of cat whiskers to know that you can get through something.
You can't. You actually get that for bikes.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, like little things that you put on the back of your bike. But I don't know if you can get something you can put on the front of it.
Thanks. I like that. Winter Mute has just said, "Has she got an alibi?" And she has. Okay.
I am sorry, Ali, and I am just playing this for attention, for a joke.
Oh my god.
Whatever.
Well, we will get the page posted with a crowdfunder for stabilizers soon. Check out the show notes.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Go to laveradio.com/Colin's an idiot / stabilizers for Colin. Don't forget to use the hashtag stabilizers for Colin in all of your posts.
I think we've got a show title, haven't we?
Yep, hashtag stabilizers for Colin is where it's going.
Oh dear. Right, well
I'm going to need one of you to make that website now. I'm doing it right now.
For only 2 pence a month, you can contribute to Rosie.
2p a month, you can contribute to an idiotic Colin who thinks that he can squeeze through areas where he genuinely can't.
Yeah, that's my
Your
impression.
2p goes towards buying straws so he can drink his soup without pain.
Actually, funny you should mention that because
I knew it was going to be an actual thing, Colin.
the first thing that Ali brought me the day after the accident, he said, "I got you something from work, and I'm using this right now at the moment. It's a water bottle with basically a meter-long straw."
That makes sense. Absolutely makes sense.
So I can hang it up at bed and still drink.
Oh. It's not funny, but it's also really funny. I'm so sorry, Colin.
Yes.
Hey, if we can't laugh at Colin's pain, what can we laugh at?
Our own pain. I was in pain for a very long time, and I'm quite glad to enjoy other people. I think that's called Schadenfreude.
Oh, good. I'm so glad to provide the Schadenfreude for everybody else in the show.
Good. Good. Thank you, Colin.
That's so much like I didn't know what Schadenfreude was until I saw Avenue Q. I now know. Anyway,
Avenue Q.
How did I see Avenue Q? It was in London when I used to work down in London every now and again.
I didn't know it's over in the UK as well.
Well, it ran for about 4 or 5 years and then stopped.
Oh, okay, that would explain probably why I've not been able to find it then.
Yeah.
Also, when he's on the good painkillers, that's how he was talking to the fruit bowl.
Yeah, true stuff.
Everyone turns into a Muppet.
Only so much morphine.
Dear. Anyway, I think we'll move on to the in-game events. What has been happening in the galaxy of Elite Dangerous this week? Well, on the 7th of September, the rescue megaships were announced that they're going to redeploy. The first 5 are going to move on the 14th of September. That's 4-star, Hunter, Sequel, Yoshida, and Solace. They're all moving that week. And then 6 more move on the 21st of September, which is Birchninger, Cavill.
So close.
I know. Hey, you missed this. Cornwallis, Clinzael, Sanctum, and Haven.
Definitely not close at all with Kiss Eye.
Ah, dear. So
it doesn't say where they're moving. I don't know if they've like got a log now where they're supposed to be moving to, because not gonna lie, haven't logged in for a hot second. But when the article came out, there wasn't a notification as to where they were going to move. Whether they everyone's assumption is that they're all moving closer, but what if they move further away?
Oh, geez, if they move further away, I mean, every single time I go to the Maelstrom to rescue something, it always seems to be like a 15 jump for me.
So the thing is, it's because it's so because you're building ships specifically for the purpose of rescuing passengers, so they don't have massive jump range because they have to have so many other things going for them that they don't have this massive jump range anymore. Putting putting these rescue ships so far away legitimately deters people from wanting to do that thing. It's 100% accurate. So it would make sense to elevate the enjoyment of that particular gameplay loop to make the megaships a closer proximity. That said, who fucking knows?
And of course,
I think.
Oh, go on, Indigo.
I think that's a fair point. It's clear that that's an important gameplay aspect to FDev. Somebody just noticed that they have, as of 1601, turned off the casual interdictions by scythes if you're carrying cargo pods adjacent to the war zone. I guess now you have to go to a signal source in order to find them, in order to be jumped by them.
All right.
Which I think is kind of unfortunate. I like the sort of menace that comes when the war is inflicting itself on people in the general neighborhood, even if they don't particularly want to be involved. War is funny like that. The idea of a fully optional war experience grates on my sense of immersion a bit. At the same time, I also know that there are people who were really enjoying that game experience. And I'm talking about rescues in this case. There are also people who are enjoying hunting for scythes who can't really get that experience without dipping into a proper controlled system and really going looking for it. So, but yeah, it's clear that they understand that a lot of people interact with the game that way and want to make sure they can continue to do so. There might also be some element of Chekhov's gun at play. And
yeah. I will say, having just reread this, it does say shortening the distance.
Never came out of which space, or
yeah.
I mean, I must admit, I am a bit hesitant about moving our prize anti-Thargoid assets closer to the maelstroms.
I mean, it definitely does say shortening the distance. It is. That's my bad for skimming it and not actually reading the whole thing. But it doesn't exactly say where they're moving. So hopefully it's a decent shortening rather than a not so decent. Although, does that mean the next thing that comes is the Thargoids are going to be like, hey, we're going to attack these rescue ships?
Right. But yeah, it makes sense if they're leading up to a kind of gameplay where people are going into the Titans again, looking for captive humans to rescue. You're not really going to want 7 jumps to get from there back to a rescue ship through hostile space.
Yeah, because those ships are built for one purpose and one purpose alone. A lot of those ships have been built to escape Titans particularly well, other than relogging.
There's not a lot of overlap there. There doesn't seem to be.
So it makes sense that they're moving, that they'd be moving closer. I'm just being facetious, I guess.
But it sure does feel like they're going to get whopped. I mean, at least some of them are going to. The storyline of we have to move the rescue ships closer because the war is so under control that the spheres of influence for those Titans have gotten genuinely smaller.
Yeah.
Is just begging for a Battlestar Galactica kind of...
It's a debate. It's going to debate it right hard. True facts.
Yes, it's going to be one of those. Oh, I'm prepared for your fully prepared double cross.
Yeah, we're being lured into a false sense of security by the Thargoids, and then they're just going to absolutely ruffle stomp us in the not too distant future.
I am so surprised by your inevitable betrayal. Yes.
Shocked.
Yeah. So let's see how that plays out. On the 7th, a CGI to upgrade the Xenoscanner requires resources has started. So this is ongoing at the moment, the proper current CG. So this is for the Xenoscanner to actually detect human pods around the Titans.
Yep.
And like I said, I'd love to get involved, but kind of on the sidelines.
And this one is in some difficulty. There are people jumping on social media to say, "Hey, if you're interested in this..."
It'd be hilarious if we don't do this.
Yeah, right.
So the Protect is at tier 2.
Right.
the
They could certainly say
deliveries
that
is at
counts as a
0.
success, and it's sure hard to
Yeah.
imagine the narrative behind we managed to shoot a bunch of pirates, so the scientists were ultimately successful.
So there's a talking of this CG of the CG message that came out. I think that it's very in line with the Galnet article that came out yesterday as well.
I mean, did anybody not see this coming?
What
Well,
do you mean?
The CG.
Obviously me, because I wasn't there.
Well, you didn't see
oh.
like seeing the CG not complete. Do you mean?
No, I mean, did anyone, who wasn't expecting this CG to show up?
Oh, I mean, I
Oh,
think
yeah, of course.
it was definitely
After the
always
in-game
going to be a
messages, the other-
two-part.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the stories about humans in pods, it was always going to be a new sensor and then a new limpet.
Yep.
Chris?
I'm just kind of glad that it's not a completely new sensor that you've got to attach to the ship. If it's just going to be an upgrade that's just going to get pushed to everyone that already has the scanner, I am assuming. Because I don't think it doesn't really say in the article, does it? It's like, we're going to do an upgrade to the scanner. It'll be available to buy at those newly moved mega ships.
We're going to put three different Xeno scanners available.
Yeah.
I just think, maybe your Cobra's a BMW and they'll charge you a monthly fee to add that feature.
Oh.
Oh no!
Don't give them ideas like that, Ben. Yeah, have they said that the unlock for the Xenoscanner, they're not going to require any materials taken from the Maelstrom or anything daft like that, are they?
It doesn't say. We haven't had any confirmation of anything along those lines.
Oh, okay. Fair
So
enough.
fingers crossed. I mean, it kind of plays into what we said last week, wasn't it? About, we're going to get something that says, hey, find out where the people are, and then, like Indigo says, the next one will be, and now we need to develop the special limpet, the hull breach limpet, to start scooping stuff out.
Or hopefully, or maybe even a hull breach limpet to go aboard the Titan.
Yes. You're with
That's
me.
what
I
really want.
wanted a breach pod. I want a frontline breach pod, Colin. I want to go on the mega ship and there to be like a queue of people waiting to get on the breach pod.
I worry about you.
I mean,
what did Tom say he hated hearing from us? Oh, it shouldn't be that difficult to do.
Yeah, just
just do it.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy to do, Tom. It's just you change a 0 to a 1, don't you? And all that appears in the mega ship, doesn't it?
Just fix your fucking broken game.
Yeah.
Don't break anything else in the process.
There are so many potential ways this can go, and some of them sound awesome, and some of them sound lowest common denominator, and we will see what we get.
Yes, I'm 100%, as I said last week, expecting a limpet. However, in my
breaching pod.
But all I can see,
I do think that would be so much fun.
I can see is Tom and Darren opposite us at that table after Elite Meet, just going, no. That's dream on, my friend. What do you think we do?
Stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning after a week trying to put one asset in that just didn't want to go in.
Yeah.
Oh,
Holy
jeez.
shit.
Now I know why we don't have racetracks.
No, it's because it's lazy.
Anyway.
I couldn't complete that.
On Monday, the 11th of September, the Sirius Corporation discussed Thargoid abductions. Now, obviously, I've missed this one. Can someone bring me up to date?
It's basically, honestly, I think it's more of a, hey, we see that CG's not working. Hey, look, Sirius might want to do it as well. Want to do an upgraded like Aegis is doing a resources for an upgrade pulse wave xenoscanner, but Sirius is doing research as well. So it's kind of the way I'm sort of like reading between the lines is that it might be something that's after the CG, but it's also it also touches on the stuff from the CG. So it might mean that if it doesn't make, there might be an article that says Sirius has helped to supplement that kind of thing a little tiny bit. But as Apathis is saying in chat, there is talk about the next module that you would need, which is kind of like the Thargoid pod with human in extract Olympic kind of thing. I mean the full mission for the jump bays and that. That one instead.
Oh no!
Right.
Commander Turkarov gets dad joke of the week. Are we saying?
God. Oh, you have to, Colin.
Here's your CG reward. Like it or limp it.
Amazing.
Oh,
amazing, incredible.
Yeah.
That hurts me. That hurts me in my core. Not many people can do that, so congratulations.
Man,
You said about that, Clegg.
You said a lot right there.
Sorry, I broke you up mid-flow. Yes. Yeah, I mean, if I remember rightly, I was discussing CG mechanics with the late Michael Brooks, and he said as long as you pass tier 1, they consider it a success.
Yeah, it's not even past tier 1 though yet.
Yeah. The one issue that they did have was with the Thargoid sampling, because there was a bug that didn't allow them to pass it. And they kind of brushed that off and let it go through anyway.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of hand waving if it doesn't complete would be a little. I don't know. Would you be disappointed if if it gets to the end of the CG and it's not even got past tier 1 and they go, never mind, we've done it anyway? Because this is like, for at least me, this is the first time that I can remember that being the case.
Yeah, how do they escalate it at this point? Do they have a new graphic and horrifying Galnet article talking about the discoveries that they've made of humans trapped on Titans, and it's going to take us that much longer to figure out how to rescue them, or does it end up being something that embarrasses Aegis and gives Azimuth a chance to say, "Oh, hey, we've got a
that
scanner
would be
that's going to work just fine, and it's already ready to go in the rescue ships." And
yeah, because that's the kind of thing they did before. Because talking to Arthur, there was the juncture point before. If you wanted to support Aegis, you supported Admiral Tanner as he tried to raid the megaships. And what would have happened in that case? It would have been Aegis doing the whole Proteus wave instead of Azimuth.
Yeah, we've talked about that before as well. The fact that if it would have, it's the same outcome but a different label on the gun kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? That's what we spoke about.
So I think this would probably be a prime opportunity for that to happen.
It would be great because Azimuth have been really quiet recently.
And it could also be that Sirius will pick up the ball on the scanner, and then Azimuth will come in with the hatchbreaker rescue limpet.
Yeah, it's interesting. I would much rather it fail and then there be another thing for it. Or do you know what I mean? Like, I much rather there be consequences. I need to see consequences, even if it's just a different company's logo on a limpet.
Yeah, and I must admit that's always one thing that I've liked to see is the fact that the community didn't get involved with this one this time for some reason, and because of that there are consequences.
I mean, could they just extend it, roll it out, add another week, do something that sort of goes out, because of difficulties with the Thargoid War and blah, 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 we've...
No, that still feels like a bit of a cop-out.
I mean, it absolutely would be, but I mean, there is is there the potential that they would do that as the fix?
Yeah. I mean, we still feel some of the consequences of the anti-corrosive cargo rack CG that only got as far as the size 4s. There are a couple of items that would be very useful, especially since we're in apparently the war of the limpets, that would be a real multiplier for people who are out farming samples in cutters and type 10s that instead have to have a bunch of size 4 cargo racks.
Well, you can get a size 16, but the unlock for it is a bit painful. I know because I just did it, but yeah. Anyway, I think we're going to call that time of the week again.
Store alert!
And welcome back. Well, today we are going to discuss the Cobra Mark III Crossfire paint jobs. Well, these are Cobra Mark III paint jobs, which are silver with various stripy colours. Best way to describe them, really. You can have them in red, you can have them in grey, you can have them in a different kind of grey, you can have them in brown and browner, you can have it in silver and blue, and you can have it in different various versions of snot green. So, will any of those be piquing your interest?
Absolutely not.
They're not as glorious as the
Third the lands from last week.
FDL ships from last week, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say.
They're nice, but I've already got a nice skin from the
And there are other ships that paint job looks better on. I think I have one on a Chieftain, and it's pretty stylish.
Yeah, that would be pretty sick.
Not so
Yeah,
much
I
on the
think so.
Cobras.
Yeah. I mean, the Cobra Mark III, it's... Wow, I think that's the ship that's got the most paint jobs at the moment.
I think you might be right. It does have a
Yeah.
lot. And rightly so.
Well, yeah, I mean, best small ship in the... Yeah, is it still technically the best small ship in the game?
I would say so.
It will always be the best small ship in the game.
Okay, that's fine. I'm glad we all agree. Right. For those of you who are interested, Elite and Odyssey are both on sale on Steam. The base game is going for $4.99 and Odyssey for £10.50 or $49 really.
That's
Yeah,
not bad.
Get yourself a whole fucking game. Get yourself an amazing game for 15 quid. It's great.
Yeah,
It's great. Play Elite Dangerous.
Yeah, $15.50 would get you the whole of what we have been playing for the last 6,000 hours.
Yeah, it's a great game. You'll get your worth out of it.
I mean, okay, admittedly though, if they're listening to the podcast, they might be playing the game already. But you know,
Probably. I don't think our 2 hours a week of content really appeals to people who don't play Elite. I'm not gonna lie.
You know, if you're listening to this and you've never heard of Elite Dangerous, it's yours for only 15 quid. Go and get it.
Let me interject for just a moment. If you're listening to this and you've never played Elite Dangerous, why? Why are you listening to this?
They might be doing research and expect a podcast about Elite Dangerous to help them understand why.
Nah, listen to old episodes of Flight Assist. They're well better.
In some monitoring station somewhere underground, someone is charged with the job of listening to all broadcast output from Lave, just in case secret messages are being transcoded in the background. They must take notes of all the information. There is a code.
Absolutely.
You just need to listen closely.
The code apparently is cretin.
Oh, that's really unfair.
Listen, we had to fit it in somewhere. It's just convenient that you did what you did.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think we'll just park the cretin talk for the moment and go for an ad break.
New from Azimuth Biotech, it's Tickle Me Thargoid. Tickle Me Thargoid is fun for all the family. Teach your little anti-Xeno commander the difference between an Orthrus and a Cyclops, a Basilisk and a Medusa.
Count the hearts. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a Cyclops!
Teach them their weakness and how to exploit them.
Now rip out the hearts. One by one.
I don't want to.
Do it. Using the tool. Do it. Now stomp on its face. Smash its face in.
I've got them.
Tickle Me Thargoid. Available now from branches of Lave Toy Depot and other retailers.
Dreams. Humanity's dreams. The hope to live among the stars. From early times, we've gazed up to the heavens and wondered if one day we could travel there. Maybe even live there. The Brewer Corporation has made this dream a reality. Constructing intricate cathedrals of metal, circling numerous planets across thousands of systems in our human bubble. Why stay rooted in a gravity well when you can be free in orbit, free to dream, free to live, and one day to become a commander and be free to blaze your own trail? Brewer Corporation, the first step into the unknown. Come join us. Be free.
Have you been affected by Azimuth Biotech's provocation of the Thargoid menace? At Turner & Fig, we're ready to pursue claims against Azimuth Biotech as part of our class action lawsuit.
My son has started worshipping the Thargoid god and keeps bringing home human sacrifices. Am I entitled to compensation?
Yes, you are.
My daughter was aboard the Bright Sentinel. I keep calling Azimuth to find out where she is, but I always get their voicemail.
Thank you for calling Azimuth Biotech. We're sorry, but
Salvation
is not available. Please leave your message after the tone.
Am I entitled to compensation?
Yes, you are.
I was selling escape pod occupants into slavery, but now Thargoids keep taking the escape pods instead. Am I entitled to compensation?
I suppose so. Thousands, maybe millions of people are due compensation from Azimuth Biotech. Contact us today. Turner & Fig, cleaning out Azimuth Biotech for a huge portion of your compensation.
Protecting settlements from villainous scum, it's Settlement Patrolman. The action figure every child wants. Wearing the all-new Manticore Dominator suit with light-up jump assist thrusters. Press his backpack to hear Settlement Patrolman speak.
Not seen you around here before, Commander. Is that a Karma P15 in your pocket, or are you just pleased to see me? Hey, don't point that at me.
When alarms sound, Settlement Patrolman rides into action in his surface reconnaissance vehicle with pop-up turret and glow-in-the-dark wheel trims. Settlement Patrolman.
Surface reconnaissance vehicle and action figure sold separately. Available from branches of Lave Toy Depot and other retailers. Microelectrode, ion battery, and circuit switch not included.
Well, welcome back. Now, for our main discussion this week, well, we're going to take the question of the week that was sent out earlier because
we've had so many responses.
Exactly, it was phenomenal, and knowing us lot, it takes a while to get through these. So
And let me. I just want to say, on Sunday I went I finished the D&D and I went, holy shit, I've not done a question of the week, and went, I'll throw this up and see what people say, and people have really liked it. So from now on, I'm not even going to think about it. I'm just going to put a question up.
Just do it.
That checks out.
Which miniature space hamster do you want as a bobblehead on your?
No.
No. All right.
No. Miniature giant space hamster. Get it right. I can only think of two, but the fact that I can think of two means that I know too much.
That's one more than I know. Right, the question of the week before we get diverted again is if you could add something from any other game to Elite, what would it be? Why and why? So, okay, let's run this quickly around the group. And as Ben is experiencing a separate game at the moment, you can have a go first.
I think I actually did answer in the question, and it's relevant for what I'm doing just now, but seeing if it lasts longer. I want, as I've always said, I want the ability to run around our spaceships. I think there is so much potential gameplay that we could have from doing that. And whilst I have come to accept the fact that we aren't going to get it in Elite, I think they're missing a trick there, and I think there is a lot of potential for it. And my God, I want it. It's good for social. It's good for gameplay. It's good for making Elite Frontier money.
Yes, because the internal.
I know they could sell a lot of Alyssa Duval bedspreads and things. People would buy that.
Yeah, but that's really gross.
Thank God you have a bedspreads.
People would buy it.
That's so gross, Ben. I've got so many issues with that, you big gross bastard.
Just tell me people wouldn't buy it, and I will prove you wrong.
I don't put it in the game. Let's not do that. Let's not talk about that. Let's not.
Yeah, they can be. I was just thinking of the picture from Power Play. I wasn't thinking of anything dubious.
No, yeah, absolutely, but still, let's not.
Okay, well, yeah, ship interiors. That's always a popular one that we've had in the past. Okay, let's go for Commander Indigo. What would you take from some other space game and put it in?
I would pick the general friendliness and sometimes sassiness of a No Man's Sky freighter NPC crew, or your little hireling helpers around the game. I don't require a high deal of interaction with my fleet carrier staff NPCs, but just a little bit would make it so much more engaging to, have even dumb little conversations with the Space Marine standing by the elevator with an AR-50, or the person who's flying the fleet carrier when you're not telling it where to go.
You just basically want them to salute you, don't you?
I'd be happy with that.
That was Shan, wasn't it? He just wanted. I own this carrier. You should be bowing down and being.
I don't want to like say that speaks to anybody's character at all with that.
Yeah. Whilst maybe you don't need that, it would be nice to get some kind of recognition.
Recognition that you own it.
Yes, definitely.
Not just that, but also interaction. Think about the amount of interaction in Baldur's Gate you have just from regular citizens walking around.
Legitimately, welcome home, Commander would be enough for me.
Yeah. But, there is so much we could have that we just don't.
We're not going to shoot you. We're not going to shoot you down, Commander, because you own us.
Yeah, exactly. You pay our bills.
Dave, put out that cigarette. She's back.
It's a no smoke. This is
no
smoking break.
Station. No smoking break. Quick, just calm down.
They walk around coughing all of the time, and I'm like, I can smell it. I can smell it everywhere.
Clean pad 7. Clean pad 7. That's the one she's got. Oh no.
Oh, my hearing's. I thought for a second there, Chris. I thought you said clean pants 7.
Jesus.
You have to step outside of the fleet carrier to smoke. Look, let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
You have to be outside. Just because it's a vacuum of space, I can't be held responsible for that. You are making these bad decisions from the beginning. It's the 3300s. You need to know by now that smoking is bad for you.
The smoking area is terrible.
Yeah, they've got the drugs that fix all the badness for it.
Yeah, just get involved in some push instead. It's fine.
Available for sale in the bar.
Swears by it. Oh dear.
So, Chris, what's your thing that you'd add?
More drugs. No. What would I take from another? I mean, like No Man's Sky. I like a lot of the exploration aspects of No Man's Sky. So you've got a bigger variety of planets and atmospheres, I'm going to say, because that then leads on to all the other stuff that you can put on there. I understand that space is big and life may not be as frequent as that in reality. However, it would be nice to have a bit more variety of things to scan, things that might run away as you try and scan to add extra complexity.
That'd be fucking terrifying. And the moment a plant starts to run away from me, I'm done. I'm turning my computer off and I'm walking around and sitting in a dark room.
Yeah, when you try and scan that plant, it scans you back.
Oh God. That's the horror game. That's the horror game of 2023 right there.
Oh, we should add that.
Brain trees will eat you all for your intelligence.
Where do you think they get the brains from? It's
Oh.
the intellect devourers. They actually come from the far realm. Oh no.
So therefore, I think this crew is safe. Anyway, Claire, what about you?
Oh shit! I've been sat here racking my brains trying to think of something that I would add to Elite from a different game. And there's been like a thing in the back of my head going, "Don't say romanceable NPCs. Don't say romanceable NPCs."
I was about to suggest
because it's definitely not that. It is definitely not that. Maybe
come on, you telling me you wouldn't get jiggy
absolutely
with
not in Elite.
your-
Not in
No?
Elite. Not in Elite because it's not that kind of game. I like the idea. It's not that kind of game. I like the
point out that I haven't seen an attractive co-pilot yet.
I like the idea of some like very different stages of automation wherein you're making wherein you would make. I'm thinking along the lines of Satisfactory. So like a production line wherein you're making components that you require for your ship and or for engineering materials, just some kind of a kind of a base building, but also like construction or just some kind of mini game or a component within your ship that acts in a similar way to Satisfactory or Factorio or things along those lines. Where you can put stuff together. There's a game called Shapes, which is really like super fundamental of that. It's kind of an idle game, but it's not an idle game. But it asks for certain quantities of mixing different colors and shapes together to create other colors and feed into unlocking more things and unlocking more expertise. I really like that as a very simple game mechanic that you could shove into other things like in a satisfactory way, things along those lines, and that kind of stuff. I like the idea of using materials to create other things that would be cool for you to have, rather than just running around and collecting it.
Excellent. Very.
That's my actual answer, other than romanceful NPCs, because that's not an answer at all.
Well, I guess I'll go with mine, which is going to be different from what I suggested earlier. I'm going to take the specific capital ship battle out of Star Wars Squadrons. I would like it, and if you have a situation, say, for example, in Power Play, where you've got two powers fighting over one particular system, this unique battle scenario appears where you can team up for PvP, 5x5 in various ships, and the entire objective is to either destroy or drive off the opposing battleship. And like very similar to what Star Wars Squadrons has, because that it was awesome to play Star Wars Squadrons, and I just feel that Power Play needed that level of uniqueness to it. So there's me.
Yeah, it's a good idea. It's good. It's cool. It's a good idea.
Right. Okay. So we'll go through everybody else's suggestions. So I'll take Frank's. Frank87 says there was a multiplayer game in Driver where you had ribbons tied to the back of your cars, and the other players had to cut them down. He says it's fun. That sounds like a CQC scenario.
Yeah, it does. That's cool though.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll take Caprica then. EVA with derelicts to explore and salvage in space. And hell yes, I love the idea of EVAing. And again, so much you could add.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Alan Stroud.
Never heard of him. Who's
says,
that?
All of Hard Space Shipbreaker.
Doesn't he do some music?
Pretty sure he does some.
I don't know.
The name is familiar, but
he writes stuff as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, think about him. Think about him.
Maybe he's got a blog.
It's Hard Space. Is Hard Space Shipbreaker? Is that VR as well?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So that'd be in-person VR on Elite Dangerous.
Yeah, that goes well with the ship salvage and derelict megaships and things like that. And EVA itself with destructible ships you can take apart, and there's lots of potential good stuff that could dovetail into Elite for that one because it is very simulation based.
Yeah. We have Bingo Brewster, who says that part of the reason he's only wanted to play since Odyssey is they've only played once since Odyssey is the lack of VR. They're an old fart and never wanted Odyssey in the first place. Okay.
He doesn't need to play Odyssey. The rest of it in VR is perfectly playable now. So it's
Just stay off your feet.
Yeah. I mean, I am loving the VR experience in the latest version of Elite. I know that a lot of people say that the Horizons version is better. I don't agree with that anymore. I think they've fixed a lot of the performance problems, and I'm quite happy playing in VR in Live Edition. So I'd say you don't have to play the Odyssey bit. Just join in with the rest of it, because you're missing out on some awesome Thargoid fights in VR if you're not playing. Simple as that.
Amazing.
Who's this Ben Moss Woodward person?
Never heard of him.
Yeah, some idiots.
Some idiot who likes to play other games. Who would do that?
Can't think.
Yeah. Okay.
I do have another thing I'd like though.
Okay, go on then.
I would also like to get speeder bikes in Elite Dangerous, and I mean real speeder bikes that actually go fast.
Oh yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Turn a skimmer on its side and climb on.
That. To be honest, if I could jump in a skimmer and maintain the same stats, I'd be happy with that.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Chris, do you want to take this one, or are you busy?
Yeah, no, I can do. LCU, No Fool Like 1. I'm looking at Starfield ship customization with some envy. Same thing for surface bases would also be super cool. I think I kind of agree with that. Like some sort of surface base, that would be neat. Also, bigger megaship interiors. I would love to explore a wrecked megaship. I kind of should have said part of that for No Man's Sky, because that's one of the things you can do in No Man's Sky is there's sort of abandoned freighters that you occasionally come across. So you imagine if you're flying about in Super Cruise and then you receive a distress beacon and you drop out and it's a in distress mega ship that you can sort of go and explore and see what happened. That would be really, really cool. He would also like, he's not got a small list here. He would also like ProgGen biology. We've found almost everything now, and biology is common. Apart from money, there's very little award for stopping. Procedural generation would make stopping for biology worthwhile for unique discoveries. Running away brain trees that scan you back.
Lovely. I love this from Commander Dirk Hatch. Star Citizen's budget.
That feels right.
Yes.
That's a bit that you've had in.
Yeah, 600 million was it last month? They've announced.
It's something ridiculous, yeah.
Oh my goodness! They don't need to release that game.
That's like the cost of a whole ship.
Oh dear. Anyway, who's next?
Amanda Homburger says, it's got to be Subnautica, hasn't it, though? Oh, my thalassophobia stopped me playing Subnautica. I love the idea of it. I love the idea of being like I've always talked about it, my Thunderbird 2 and then 4 moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's well documented. But the reality of it is I drop into this open water and shit myself.
Yes, I mean I've got Subnautica ready to go on my Steam.
Nope.
But I'm scared to actually do it because you know in Half-Life when you're swimming around the lake and then suddenly that big thing with big teeth just jumps out at you.
No, I do not, and I never will. Thank you, Colin.
That's kind of, it's the Jaws moment. It's put me off going into the sea for life.
Oh God, it's oh no. It's that crawling over you. It's just like gives that crawl over your skin, scary feeling of like the open water and not being able to see the bottom of the water. Really gives me huge pause, and I really would be excited to have that moment of jumping of that going into that water from a spaceship and having that amazing moment, and then it would be instant regret. There's no two ways about it. It would be instant regret going, I'm so legitimately out of my depth at this moment. Couldn't even imagine what it'd be like in VR. So scary. No, thank you.
Yeah, Subnautica is VR, isn't it? They've got a VR version. Yeah.
Plus, the universe of Elite being the way it is, there's going to be a lot of empty space and a lot of empty water and depth. And it's not going to be thousands of little fishies swimming around. It will be, I am in a wet void.
Well, actually, those kind of mechanics aren't as difficult to do as we thought, because if you think about the Thargoid, the Thargons, the way that they're done, they're actually everything's all calculated off the one drone. So actually doing a massive, using that same mechanic to do a massive sort of fish shoal isn't as here's me saying it again. Isn't as difficult as you
I was
think.
waiting to pull you up on it. I was waiting for you to say it's not. That was just not that difficult, surely.
It's
I
not
think every time someone says that on the show, I think Tom needs to take a drink.
He probably does.
It's not so much pulling you back to reality, just pulling you back to that table.
Dear. Indigo, do you want to take the next one?
Yeah, Rangers GSTQ says, I'd love if the faction who controlled the system could direct how the system develops going forward. For example, target changing the system from extraction to agriculture or increase demand for a specific commodity. The inspiration for this comes from the classic Utopia.
Yeah, originally this was supposed to be what happened in Elite. Eventually, if you develop systems on the periphery, they were supposed to expand into the next system. And there were plans. I remember all this from the DDF, where they had plans when you advance these frontier systems to become more civilized. The stations would evolve from outposts into Corioluses. Yes, you know what I mean. They would upgrade from having outposts to Coriolis, and from if the system got really advanced, it'd go from Coriolis up to what's the ring stations?
Orbis.
Orbis there. So there'd be a kind of progression where a system, the more the more prosperous a system would get, the more it would upgrade, and then once it got to a certain point, humanity would move out to the next system, and the process would start again. But it was one of the features dropped, or it wasn't implemented. I remember it being talked an awful lot about in the DDF, but it never came to fruition.
In terms of other games, there's a mechanic like that was all they advertised for a long time for the sequel to the zombie parkour game. The Dying Light 2 was going to be all about how the world changed based on your story choices, and they would show how one community would look different in different situations. Obviously, it's more complicated in a multiplayer game, but it would be rewarding, I think, if people could see changes happen within the settlements and outposts in their systems as they make some kind of choices about what's going to happen, what the focus of that system is going to be, things like that.
Ben, do you want to take the
I'll
next
take
one?
Kevin's. So Kevin's saying that they like Starfield's option to salvage or steal ships. Wrecked ships can be salvaged in No Man's Sky as well. Obviously, Elite would require some kind of limitations on that, but it could be a fun game mechanic to go ship hunting. Yeah, and then I agree with them there. I think I love the idea of going off and sort of finding, I don't know, some commanders, well, some old commanders, Cobra Mark III, and maybe repairing it up and flying it back.
You mean from a graveyard somewhere?
Maybe yeah.
around Line T and Isla or something?
I can't think where that kind of ideas come around from, but yeah, it seems like a good idea.
Chris, do you want to take the next one?
Yeah, we have got Bograt. What is probably a mute point now, giving the suspended support to consoles? What about cross-platform save, the ability to use your ships from one account on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation?
That'd be nice.
It would have been nice.
It would have been nice, but if I remember rightly, Sony stopped it.
Yeah.
Because the in the Microsoft versus Epic trial, there was a whole load of stuff that came out, and Sony would charge an absolute fortune for allowing that kind of crossplay. It probably would have been okay between PC and Xbox, but I'm afraid to say Sony were a bit,
being dicks.
They were the bad guys in that one, I'm afraid. Right, well, I guess Dr. Strangelug dropped the whole of what?
Satisfactory, the thing that I was just talking about.
Right.
Drop the whole of Satisfactory onto planetary landings, is what that says, which I agree with. It sounds like a good idea.
Fair enough. We've just discussed it then. Does someone want to take the next one?
Napilius.
I'll give a shot at that name.
It's Napilius. Napilius.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All of the above. Clearly, a fan of lots of suggestions. But apart from that, direct economy, like in the X Universe games.
See, Elite's meant to have that, isn't it?
Yeah, I remember reading an article a long time ago about the simulation, the economy simulation that they'd put together, their little mini parallel universe to Elite that they would use for figuring out how commodity prices would relate and things like that. I'm curious if anything like that could evolve now that they've kind of taken the cap off of what you can charge for things on your fleet carrier. That's about as close as it's gotten, I think, to any actual functioning economy. But then also says BGS feels too much like meaningless number changes in fancy Excel sheets, but I understand it doesn't mix well with the multiplayer nature of the game.
Yeah, the other thing that you've got to remember for Elite Dangerous, it's not like X where you can basically build up a fleet that can manipulate the entire galaxy's economy. We're just flying around in little space yachts. As far as the big corporations have got their massive mega ships, which, if it came down to it, we couldn't, as players,
we couldn't go up against.
No. Well, we could, considering all our fleet carriers and stuff like that, but the amount of coordinated effort that we would required, I don't think would happen.
And I think that is a funny kind of wall that it's run up against, because Elite has that basic assumption that you are not a protagonist, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're a person in a ship. But then when every person has a 5 billion credit fleet carrier that can carry 25,000 tons of cargo, it starts to feel like maybe we should be able to affect the underlying economy.
Or maybe we shouldn't all be running around in $25 billion fleet carriers.
Why not?
Just saying.
Why not?
Because we're meant to be one person, one ship.
Hey,
it's
that fleet
crazy
carrier is
idea.
one
Could you
ship.
imagine? Could you imagine if you only had one ship?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, we've been
there. Disgust me.
I would be playing a different game, I think.
Yeah.
Hey, one player, one ship was Elite Dangerous. Sorry, Elite, the original Elite, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
One ship. That's it.
We were only in one ship for a long time.
Yeah, and then even in Frontier and First Encounters, you only had one ship. You couldn't buy other ships and store them.
Yeah, you only had, but you could change your ship at least in Frontier.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
Sir Max, I'll just quickly take this one. It says Half-Life 2 Deathmatch.
I mean, I love that in CQC. Like, I'd love an on-foot CQC section. That feels like that would fit with that.
It does seem like a bit of a no-brainer, doesn't it?
Aye. Mad King Hester says Earth-like worlds from Starfield. By proxy, I feel like that would also bring ammonia worlds and water worlds with tiny islands on them.
I mean, I haven't got any experience of what the Earth-like worlds in Starfield are like. I mean, do they feel like they are livable cities? I mean, is it just you land at a city and that's it, or
there's sort of little buildings and outposts around from the limited sort of bit of exploring, but I've been more in the habited bit of the galaxy so far, rather than off exploring and seeing strange new places yet. I don't know how far did you go, Psykit, when you played?
About as far as 8 hours can take you. So
so about the sort of same then. So there's like bits of outposts and stuff that you can explore, but you see sort of repeated objects and stuff like that so far that I've seen from the proc gen stuff.
Yeah. I know there's like a set distance that you can walk when you land on a planet, but I don't know much more about it, if I'm honest.
Oh, fair enough. Well, we'll put that one under investigation, so we know until we find out more.
I don't know if this is melon husk or melon husk, but being able to get up from your chair and walk around in and out of your ship, like in Star Citizen and now in Starfield, as is Elite and Odyssey, are two different, jarringly separate gaming experiences. Also, an EVA, like in Helion, salvage derelict ships in POIs.
Pretty much everything that Ben wanted.
Pretty much, yeah. So Kilt 801. I don't need another game. I just want to use the checkpoints when earning your pilot's license as custom race tracks.
That's fair.
Yeah, it seems perfectly fair.
Yeah, that would be great. And I think Alec would break one of his new chair legs if I didn't say that that's somewhat included in ED Copilot and also in the older SRV tracker. But I think sooner or later Alec is going to show up at each of our doorsteps with pamphlets advertising the truth behind ED Copilot. So
yeah, I mean, it shouldn't be that easy. It shouldn't be that difficult to put it in, surely.
Well, it's just a fix-it button, isn't it?
It seems easy to me, but I don't know what I'm talking about.
Next time Tom sees me, he's going to give me a punch, I'm quite sure.
Free punch.
Free punch. Kesnick, I'd like to borrow one thing from EVE Online. Buildable structures. Imagining shipping and materials to an empty region of space to build your own starport on settlement. To be able to populate a once empty system. And of course, this would probably lead to wars, but is that a bad thing?
No.
Yes. Have I got to say yes?
Yeah, yes.
I think for balance, yes.
I always like the idea that
just to clarify, the crew of Lave Radio believe that wars are bad in general.
This is coming from the mistress of murder herself.
Hey, what me and my bowl babe get up to in my spare time is nothing.
Those were all sanctioned.
True
I
story.
don't know what's involved in doing it in EVE Online, but I've always been a fan of the idea that you could have sort of small local CGs if a group of people wanted to haul the equipment necessary to build a small outpost in an unoccupied system or something like that. Some way to colonize a bit of the empty space.
Yeah, I mean, that's
I
one
love
of the
that idea.
things. Well, that's what, actually, of all the things that was expected from Odyssey, when the leak happened, that was the thing that I was most excited about, because there was this whole idea that we were going to get planetary settlements to manage, and I would have absolutely loved. It was basically a fleet carrier, but on one planet, and I thought that would have been great, especially building it up and managing it like a proper
one
home.
man, one ship. Get off my elite.
I can imagine it working on sort of the BGS level of complexity,
Mm.
but as soon as you start giving commanders the option to put something somewhere, then you have insanity. You've got hundreds of things clustered together around an engineer's base, or like having to deal with actual persistent locations for anybody who wants to build something is a very different proposition than deciding to put in a new structure using one of the 8 models and one of the 9 types of settlement that we already have.
I completely agree with you. I was under the impression that it was going to be an unoccupied space anyway. You couldn't put any of these things down in the bubble itself. So I was looking forward to having little mini player bubbles floating around in the space. But
you play elite to be a commander, not to be a frickin' mayor. If I wanted to be a mayor,
Ben,
Mayor Simulator.
You play elite to be a commander and not a mayor. You've got to remember, not everybody plays elite in the same way, because elite is
playing it wrong.
No, I will fight you, Ben.
Dear.
Holy shit.
Ben, take the next one.
You had to say that, didn't you, Colin? Just
before I kill you.
Yes.
This will be heirlooms.
Yep.
Yeah.
The ability to gain back materials when you destroy an item in game.
Oh God, yes.
We're selling back engineered modules. Why can't we get some materials back? Yeah, it seems fair.
Or getting materials from plants after you scan them.
That'd be nice too. The other thing that they want is the ability to go fishing. They want to land on a water world and fish off dolphins. Again, seems perfectly reasonable to me.
Gotta have a really strong fishing rod to catch yourself a dolphin. How many tons is that?
Incredible.
Yes.
Never change, Chris. Never change.
Or maybe they mean you're fishing off the back of your dolphin. Maybe that's what
I think that's how they've written it, but I like to interpret it as you're catching a dolphin on a fishing rod.
They're just catching all the. I read it as they're just catching all the dolphins on the world. All the dolphins belong to me.
Okay.
I mean, you just have a fishing limpet, wouldn't you? You just like fly above the water and you'd fire off your fishing limpet.
Right.
And you'd be so disappointed.
You can't land. You can just drop limpets into the water and they come back with 1 ton of dolphin.
Yeah, we've given you fishing. What you do is you fly above a water world and you fire the fishing limpet down to the surface and it comes back with a ton of fish. There you go. You're welcome. Fishing in game.
Chris, the venom behind the word fishing limpet is so beautiful.
Dear. Like it or limp it. There.
we have Silas Resi who says, tough one. So much is included already. Maybe being able to create paint jobs and sell like in Forza, or building ships from raw materials to sell into the game and other players like in EVE Online. Knowing your personally manufactured Ferdelance is out there poning noobs.
So basically, you want Pimp My Ride in Elite.
Yeah, why wouldn't you not? Why would you not? I love like in Forza being able to just like go and buy a paint job that someone else has made. It's great because my cars in Forza are the gayest cars that you could possibly imagine. So the rainbows everywhere. So that's a really great functionality. I would like to also have rainbows in Elite. So I'm on board.
An interesting approach to the idea of selling engineered modules too. I've heard people discuss that in the past, that they would like to be able to, for instance, engineer an Odyssey weapon that they could then sell to someone else, or ship modules, or even fully engineered ships that they could then sell. Because there are people who enjoy building those things, and once you've got the ones that you need, it can. I mean, some of us are just inveterate tinkers and will always be fiddling. Over in Loose Screw Space now, not everybody, several people are engineering AX dolphins, and tonight on JN Track's stream they're going to do a little dolphin Thargoid hunting.
So
but
the way
the ships and all the weapons that you need.
Yeah,
it could be fun to sell them along to people who aren't into the engineering but would like to be able to do some level of the high performance gaming.
The way that works in EVE, I say works, but the way that they try and monitor it and make it not something where you're constantly going and buying things for money, real life money from people, is that there's kind of like a central hub for like buying and selling stuff in EVE, which regulates the funds by which you can sell things for. So it wouldn't completely eradicate it, but at least it sort of like monitors it, kind of thing.
Yeah, but
because then it gets like weird.
Yeah, the one thing that they'd have to do in those cases is they'd have to check for any copyrighted material.
Yeah.
And as soon as you have to put in checks for copyrighted material, it makes it practically uneconomical to put in, which is a shame.
Because that has to become someone's job and responsibility and potential consequences.
I'd do it. Fine.
We've got
what's the next one?
We've got Commander Cronenberg. The trading mechanism from Jumpgate or X3, leading all the way from mined commodities to outfitting and ships to give a real feel to trading. If you need something, you know what to sell the station to get it.
Yeah, it's like sort of providing recipes, isn't it? You know, in order for a station to produce one thing, you have to supply it with these various commodities before it start producing it.
Yeah, like a little chain of control sort of things, isn't it? It's like you can tell it to have shuttles that go out and then stock it up, and then like a slightly more convoluted way of the trading that you do on fleet carriers at the moment, isn't it? You can kind of run your little bar and stockpile on the fleet carriers, but not quite sort of fulfill your orders yourself. It doesn't automatically fill up unless commanders do it for you.
Oh, Ben, you go mention this and we'll open a can of worms.
Okay, just when we were talking about the engineering, I was just thinking, what about if when a ship's died, then you only ever got vanilla modules back? And
just you shut your mouth.
I would rage quit.
I would rage quit Elite forever. That would be it. That would be it. Fuck that for a game of soldiers.
Do you not find it funny though? How
that's a Luddite thing.
No, I spend my time, I spend most of my time in a fantasy world, and that is the most insane thing I've ever heard.
Being serious, I have always found it weird how we've super customized our ship, yet then we go and blow it up and we get the exact same thing back.
You've paid
insurance. That's why it costs so much more. Why you get so much more if you sell something.
How the hell is my ship that I've just printed and done all that shit from? how have I gotten all that extra stuff that I have to fly all the way to Korea and back?
That's how the insurance industry works. You have to pay a higher premium on your ship to cover those engineered modules, so you get them back when your ship's destroyed.
Okay, guys.
Being serious, actually, if you do,
I'm gonna kill you. Next time I see you, I'm gonna punch you in your nose.
All the super sort of like the super customizations you got when you got it back from an insurance, would you get that?
If you had the right insurance, you would, yeah.
And I'm gonna kill you so
Let's just.
Yeah, I don't know if you would or wouldn't.
Ben, this is the advantage of working for the Pilots Federation. If you weren't part of the Pilots Federation, yes, you'd get stock back. But there's a Pilots Federation, so just enjoy Pilots Federation insurance. Yes.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw that question come up,
I saw it come up and I was like, Colin better not say anything.
That's why I just said it there.
If I could reach through the computer and throttle you.
You all know my opinion on engineering.
Yeah,
so the less engineering
get it. You're a soft sod. He doesn't want to do any engineering.
And we all know why you're wrong.
Yeah, that too.
So far,
know why I'm right.
Looking at the chat room, you've got a death mark on you already. Kill Ben times 3, please. All right, okay. Who wants to take the next one? Not Ben.
Where were we?
Marolius.
Marolius. Because he's fishing again.
What is with the fishing?
People want to fish.
Where did that? Is that like a reference to something? Is there a famous game that has a great fishing mechanic that I'm overlooking?
Stardew Valley?
Final Fantasy 15. Final Fantasy 15. I ended up wasting hours and hours of my life fishing. And I'm there going, why am I doing this? It's 2:00 in the morning and I'm fishing. Why?
But the fishing in Red Dead is amazing as well.
Fishing in The Sims. You can fish in The Sims.
And fishing in World of Warcraft.
Shay is advising us that most good games have fishing. Is that your game of the year markup? Can you fish or can you not?
Does Baldur's Gate have fishing?
Well, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have fishing.
I found a fishing rod.
You can find, yeah, you can find a fishing rod, but it doesn't have fishing per se. You can pick up fish and you can enjoy the water, but it's not.
You can enjoy the water.
That you don't really, you're not really fishing in the water, unless you want to get a shadow rod. Unless you want to catch a shadow rod.
The other thing they would also really like would be some mini quests that span multiple missions. Yeah, I agree with them again. The idea of getting a bunch of mini chains. Like we've kind of got it, but more. I know what they're getting at.
Yeah, and so do I. The problem is that
it's
when
hard.
it gets exponentially more difficult the more chains you put, more missions you put in the chain, which to tell you the truth, that's one thing that I haven't managed to get working properly in Odyssey is the chain missions. I never seem to be able to get a chain mission to highlight.
Yeah, it can be a bit weird. It can be a bit weird. Paying very close attention to the time and beginning to speed through these a little tiny bit. Sam Semi-Green says some of the crazy and wacky side quests from other games like Cyberpunk, Fallout, and Elder Scrolls, or House Flipper.
I mean, some of the stations need House Flipper, don't they? Some of the rubbish on the floor and stuff like that. It's like, yeah.
Hell yeah, picking up some of that trash that's everywhere.
Okay, we've got Jack Little. Can I be greedy and say all of the heat signature?
Is that a game?
I got no idea what he means.
What's heat signature unless it's a game?
Yeah, I don't know what he means by that either.
Heat signature is a video game. It's a game from the developers of Gunpoint. You look like you're on a spaceship and break into spaceships, make terrible mistakes, and think of clever ways out of them. There you go.
Okay, yeah.
Fair enough.
Sounds fun.
Sounds like my standard Saturday.
Tactical kind of, yeah.
Okay, next one.
Hieronymus Drake. FO4 settlement building. What's FO4? Fallout 4. Fallout 4 settlement building. where you've
There
got
you
to collect all your sticky gum and string to put all the settlement together, I'm presuming. I don't think anyone would feel safe inside a settlement that I've built off of scavenged parts.
Hey, they did have gaffer tape in Fallout.
They did have gaffer tape, but did they have space gaffer tape? That's the thing.
Gaffer tape is space. They do use gaffer tape on the ISS.
Oh,
a lot of it, yes.
Yes.
Moving on.
Little
Next
Big Yin.
person. Yes.
Little Big Yin.
Never heard of him.
I'm vaguely aware of who this person might be. I think I'm cheating. I think I'm cheating on Astarian with this person.
Yes.
The shipbuilder from Starfield, or at least the customization aspect. So you start with a base frame and can build upon it. The design language from Starfield would be nice. That is to say that there's a notable difference between United Colony ground bases and Freestar Collective ones. They look and feel different. We can see a difference in design language with ships, but it doesn't translate to bases in Elite Dangerous. It's a very good point.
Yeah, very true.
Very true.
We got Safina, the photo mode from Horizon Forbidden West or Ghost of Tokushima. Lots of customization options.
Everybody drink.
Basically,
yeah, everybody drink.
Instagram filters for our camera.
Well, we've got kind of a little bit of that.
Yep. Okay. Next one.
All right. Do you want to take? I'll take Ched's. So Ched's is saying he wants the character development from GTA San Andreas. If I stay in my ship all day eating McNeutron burgers, my character should put on a few pounds. Also, if we get to talk to Thargoids, then the communications methods from the Captain Blood game, which is a bit of an older game. I suppose nobody mentioned the on X, the link to Subnautica.
They did.
Crash in a water world and survive.
They did.
We did.
And I got terrified about it because of thalassophobia.
Yes.
Okay, and Indigo, do you want to take Shay's?
Sure. Shay Blackwood says, again, hard space shipbreaker, 0G on-foot combat, proper salvage gameplay should have been in the game years ago. It seems like a natural fit and would be a stellar source of, no pun intended, source of new content and gameplay.
Oh, yep. Excellent. Next.
Shark Green Buffalo says No Man's Sky's derelict freighter would be a fun, slightly different gameplay loop to get on foot materials. 100% agree.
Yep, for sure.
Tala Ren, I wouldn't transplant it directly from Star Citizen, but I would love to have a bit more distinct design languages between the manufacturers of Elite, along with some new ships. Period.
And we've got Grazer. I put some dice rolling with that type of mission you get. Same mission, different rewards. Maybe make it interesting, bar no storyline.
Listen. Unless I can get inspiration and save scum, I'm not dice rolling. Not dice rolling in this motherfucking game.
You turn up at an engineer, the dice rolls, and they go, "Nah, I don't like you. Sorry, mate." You're off.
Yeah, but I'm a guild artisan. That means that I've got inspiration at this particular time.
Can I add in Wintermute's?
What's that?
We need Thomas the Tank Engine. You know we do.
I mean, just change the little cars that go round and round in the station, the station landing, and that could be Thomas the Tank.
Yeah.
Oh God.
That will be the first mod that you can do.
Yeah, as soon as you get mod capabilities, and then suddenly there's Thomas the Tank Engine.
Well, thanks everybody for answering that. Thanks to Psychic for coming up with a question.
You're welcome. I'll think on my feet next time.
We'll be back with more of this next week. We hope.
God help you all.
God help us. So we'll just quickly do our shout outs and then we'll round out the show. So our sister station, Hutton Orbital Radio, it broadcasts on Thursday at 8:30. You can tune in at twitch.tv Hutton Orbital Truckers, or just the audio, you can get that at radio.forthemug.com. For the Discerning Commander that likes a bit of CQC action, check out the CQC Discord at Discord. patreon.com/Elite Dangerous CQC, all one word. We're also giving shout-outs to the other Elite Dangerous podcasts, and that is the Guard Frequency, who do other space games as well, and of course Indigo and the Loose Screws over there in the States. Following this, we have the latest Galnet News Digest, as provided by Commander Witherspoon and Commander Beetlejude. And we'd just like to thank everybody who's chipped in on the Twitch chat and the in-game commanders who have annoyed, well, we're going to say Chris, because it can't have been Ben.
It wasn't Ben. Ben can't get in Elite Dangerous for more than 2 minutes.
Yes, you're going to have to look at that.
Performance issues, Ben.
I'm getting performance anxiety.
You can get tablets for that at your age. It's okay.
Can I get it?
It's joke. We fit it in. Add it on your bingo card.
Nothing to be ashamed of at your age.
You're older than I am, Colin. But at least I have both working.
That's how he knows.
I always love the fact that Colin always marks himself markedly younger than everybody else, but he's such an old bloke.
Yeah, but everybody thinks I'm a lot younger than I look.
I don't.
I'm not sure that's true.
That's definitely not true, mate. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Somebody thought I was in my mid-30s the other day, so I was like,
no, you're not, Ben. No, you're not.
I know I'm not.
Direct them to me. I'll correct.
I corrected them then and there as well.
Right. Well, special thanks also.
Who's joined you in game, Chris?
So in-game posing in the bar at the moment, we have got Miggles, Duck1, Andy Sharp 42, and Siberius.
Amazing.
Nice. Special thanks, of course, goes to Commander Tokuso, JN Trax, and Alan Stroud, who have created music that we use in the show. But that's it for another episode of Lave Radio. If you'd like to get in touch with the show, you can find the contact links in the home/contact us menu section of the laveradio.com website. Do let us know if you have any questions or if there's anything you'd like us to discuss in a future episode. Lave Radio is recorded live on a Tuesday evening at 8:30 and streamed out at laveradio.com/live. So special thanks goes to Commander Indigo.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure having you on. We also have stuff to say thanks to Ben. We have to say thanks to Ben.
We're obliged to say thank you to Ben for some reason.
I'll take it.
Yeah, you will.
There was an HR memo.
Commander Psychit.
Careful, I bite.
And the wonderful Chris Mark IV, who's been doing tech as well, I do believe.
What a ledge!
You're welcome.
Chris.
So, until next time, Commanders, fly safe, because I didn't. And if you can't do that, fly dangerous.
Is your life like this? Sounds like someone having an orange inserted. Need a safe word. Space can be done. I'm gonna see the galaxy.
Ah, damn it. No worries, guys. Hold the fort for 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Galnet News Digest, 12th of September 3309. We read the news so you don't have to. In this week's news, Aegis is developing a pulse wave human scanner. The rescue ships are planning for an influx of refugees. Sirius says it's been developing a people scoop, and the rescue megaships are planning a rolling shutdown in preparation for a move closer to the Titans. Aegis is developing an upgrade to the existing pulse wave xenoscanner that will locate human captives in their pods aboard the Titan motherships using massive electromagnetic pulses. It's Seojin Ai's revelation that the Thargoids are holding their captives on the Titans that has led Aegis to start developing the technology to find and recover them alive. This is important for humanitarian reasons, but the Thargoids are apparently also planning to use the captured humans as part of their attempted military conquest of the human bubble. So if you don't like the idea of millions of Thargoid-controlled automatons marching relentlessly into battle against humanity, then recovering those helpless humans in their pods before the Thargoids have time to reprogram them sounds like quite a good plan. Oddly enough, we haven't been asked to help with the development of this new improved xenoscanner. Instead, it's the rescue megaships that need our help. As they prepare to take in the rescued captives, they've discovered their supplies of near-fabric insulation, polymers and life-giving thallium have almost run out, and they've appealed for more. This slightly unusual shopping list will be managed by Muller Terminal in the Raab system, the same starport used by Aegis to prepare for the launch of an earlier version of the xenoscanner in late May. The Sirius Corporation has offered to share technology that'll help rescue the millions of people held captive on the Thargoid Titan motherships. But it's not clear what it's asking for in return. Aegis is already in the process of developing an improved pulse wave xenoscanner that'll highlight the life support pods in which so many people are being held captive. But it's not even begun to address the problem of safely detaching the pods and scooping them up to be brought back to the rescue ships for rehabilitation. So the approach from Sirius, saying that a number of potential solutions and some working prototypes have already been developed, and that the corporation is willing to hand over this research to Aegis, is a timely and, on the face of it, a most welcome intervention. The Old World's Gazette approached Alliance Deputy Prime Minister Angela Corcoran in the hope that, in the light of the Alliance's special relationship with Sirius, she might have information about what Sirius has been developing. Corcoran says she has no idea what Sirius is up to outside the defensive pact, and that in fact she's worried that Sirius might want something from Aegis in return for its patented People Scoop 9000. Knowledge is power, and Aegis has a lot of knowledge. Sirius also knows from its work with the Alliance, which appears to consist of charging the Alliance to protect it from Thargoids while actually doing nothing at all, that Xenos mean credits. The Aegis initiative to prepare the rescue megaships for an influx of newly rescued captives is not going particularly well, with some doubt over whether even the minimum success criterion will be met. It's unclear whether the possible failure of this initiative will also delay the availability of the People Finder upgrade to the xenoscanner. But when it eventually goes into production, it would be mightily handy to have a Sirius people scoop to go with it.
In preparation for an advance to just behind the front line, 5 rescue megaships stopped issuing new mission contracts, and the other 6 will follow suit 1 week later, on the 14th of September. Vice Admiral Skylar Anderson explained how, with better understanding of the ebb and flow of the war against the Thargoid invasion, and because of recent advances into Thargoid-held territory, Aegis feels it can safely move the rescue megaships closer without any significant risk of them being overwhelmed by Thargoids. This will allow rescue missions to be completed with less travelling, which will in turn improve the efficiency of the war effort. The first 5 megaships, the Furster, the Hutner, the Seacole, the Yoshida and the Allied Solace, stopped issuing new missions, but will not move to their new locations for another week. Anyone with outstanding missions at these 5 carriers have plenty of time to complete the missions prior to the move. On the day they jump to their new forward positions, the Bertschinger, the Cavell, the Kissay, the Imperial Sanctum and the Federal Haven will stop issuing missions and will jump towards the front on the 21st of September. By using this staged approach, the rescue effort can continue throughout the exercise. The Rescue Rangers, who operate the rescue megaships on behalf of Aegis, assure commanders that any stored modules and ships will be carefully transferred to the new location, along with the megaships.
And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News, we read the news so you don't have to.